afternoon. If you're tuned in right now, you're tuned in live to Studio 10-4 Live, the weekly update here with John, your host, in the studio up in the Pacific Northwest. And got a little bit of the green screen working today. It's kind of got a little bit of fuzz and flutter going on back there, but bear with me. We still don't have the new Studio 10-4 location completely dressed up the way I want to get it. So in the meantime, we'll just kind of fake it with that green screen background, which isn't half bad to look at. That was a good shot. I can't remember what show that was, but it's in one of the magazines from like 2-3 years or more ago, I guess, something like that. But anyway, kind of cool stuff. Got a great show. This show today is brought to you by us, by 10-4 Magazine and Trucking for Kids. Of course, Trucking for Kids coming up. Save the date, as they have been saying, coming up in the end of April. A full weekend of fun in the Southern California sun, which there's not a lot of right now. Right now, California, hang on, get your boats out because it's getting wet down there. And I mean, in a big way. They've got some, what we call, I got a new fancy name for it now. We just used to call it the Pineapple Express. And that's pretty much what it's been up here too. We had the rain come through last week and it was in the 50s, almost 60 degrees here, which is unheard of at 50 degrees at night. And raining like crazy. And this is right after Christmas, in between Christmas and the New Year. So, by the way, Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2023. Can you believe it? I can't, but it is 2023. Almost 10 years since our guest that we've got waiting in the green room was on the cover of 10-4 Magazine, which was November 2014. Jesse Bounds in the green room, waiting to come on into the studio. And we're going to talk a lot about what Jesse's up to these days. He really intrigued me with what he's got going on. I follow him on social media, and the business model that he's got in play, not what everybody else is doing, trust me. But it just piqued my interest, and I want to find out what the heck's going on and how it works. He's doing something different and unique. I want to welcome guys into the studio. Hopefully we'll get a few more of you in there. It must be busy out there first of the year. Either that or you're hungover as hell, because the regulars that are usually in here by now are not. So, guys, I hope you're all okay, and hope things are going well for you. Dennis Mitchell, Pete Henderson, Del Bocaleone. Good to have you guys all in there. Of course, Dennis, contributor to 10-4 Magazine. Pete, I almost feel like you're a contributor. You're coming all the way across the pond from, I always get it mixed, man, Scotland or Ireland. Scotland, isn't it, that you're watching from? And I follow Peter on social media as well. He's a racer. He races dirt track, if I'm not mistaken. So, Peter, good to have you on the show. Dale, nice to have you back, and all the rest of you. And here's the thing. I know there's a lot of other folks out there that watch this on the replay as well as kind of in the background. Love it if you guys, shout it out. Scotland, there you go, buddy. All right. See, I knew I was pretty close there. I was right on. What am I talking about? So if you guys would share the show in your feed, I'd appreciate it, and get it out there. Let folks know what's going on here. I've got some great stuff that we're going to bring to you in 2023 through the show weekly, as well as, of course, out in the real world. First show coming up for us that we're going to be all traveling to, and that's all of us at Team 10-4, is going to be Matt's Mid-America Truck Show, Louisville, Kentucky, coming up at the end of March. That is going to be probably, we kind of do it like NASCAR. We kick off the biggest show of the season first, and this year's especially blessed and different because we got two big shows that are coming up. We've got Louisville coming up in March, and then we have in September GBATS, and that's a Guilty by Association truck show over in Joplin, Missouri, with boss man Brian Martin, and of course all the Chrome Shop Mafia waiting to. They ain't waiting on anything. They're probably working on that show right now to make it all happen. The Diesel Addict herself, Stephanie Haas, in the house. Charles Hale, good to have you, buddy. It was good to have you on the show last week. If you guys missed the show last week, and you don't mind a bunch of us getting together and kind of talking and carrying on about the past year and doing a kind of a year-end wrap, tune in and check it out. It's all available either on YouTube or on Facebook. You can go to either and watch on either side. So some of the things that we're going to bring to you guys that we haven't done in the past, and we have kind of a little bit here and there, but I want to start off this show. We had just a little bit enough time to kind of put together. Kind of picked out a truck of the week, and it happened to fall in one of the shows. It was the last show of the year, Bobtail Apparel Show. And this truck, I'll tell you, every bit of amazing. Let me bring him up right now. If you've ever seen Stan's truck, it is amazing. I'm going to bring it up right now. But this one, and this is actually from the from Souza Truck Show. But just because it was a great profile shot of his truck. But Stan put a beautiful, and when I saw this truck for the first time up close, which happened to be at the Souza show, I think it really stood out to me there more than anywhere. And I missed him on the way out. He left kind of early, but what an amazing combo set of doubles, just a classic Peterbilt combo right there for you. And Stan, you get our first truck of the week of the new year. And this truck, not only, of course, is it looking good here. Let me bring up some details here, and they just disappeared on me, but I'll bring them back up. At the Bobtail Apparel Show, this was our best of show winner. May 1998 cover truck, also on 10-4 magazine, going back, and there's nothing I can do to bring that out and show you what it looked like then. We don't have those archives available digitally, but what an amazing truck. It's been around forever, and it just looks like just an amazing job keeping it shiny and pretty every day. And that is a 1954 Peterbilt hooked up to a set of polished 20-foot 55 Trailmobile van trailers. Always looking good and representing well. And Stan, real nice guy, sat down with us at the 10-4 booth and hung out at the Bobtail Apparel Show, which happens to be, oh, wait a minute. What are those girls doing in here? Well, that's the booth. And I got kind of sliced out of that one, man. I'll tell you what, no love for JT right there, man. Cut right out of his own selfie photograph. What the heck's going on in this world? I do want to show this, though. Here's a really cool video from that show. And this happens to be the video that I submitted to my niece, my cousin, well, second cousin, actually, Brittany Hope over at KCRA, the NBC affiliate there in Sacramento. And she made this possible to be on the show. Let me crank it up. Jesse, give me a thumbs up if you hear the sound in the back. All right, good deal. Boy, I'll tell you, I miss that weather right now. Looking up at that blue sky on a warm day. All right, got the Fried Brothers in the background playing, and of course that is the Hildebrand's Black Market Express out of Pajaro, California. So over there off the coast. But nice to have them over at the show. They had some great looking trucks out there. And again, our show truck, well, truck of the week, Stan Alves right there out of Fresno, California. So first one of the year, Stan, way to go. Nice job. And we'll look for another truck next week. I've got another feature that we're going to bring into as well today. We'll get to that after we talk to Jesse, but in the mix, I'm going to bring up best social media truck of the week. And I actually have some great shots of a truck, and I think you guys are going to recognize this truck. Had a great response over in our group, and I can't wait to bring it out to you. But right now, I'm going to bring out our November 2014 cover trucker, Jesse Bounds. Jesse, what's going on, my friend?
Well, trying to stay dry.
You're doing it. You're succeeding, as they say. So good job, man. Yeah, it's a wet one here. Both of us are up in the Pacific Northwest. You're further north of me, so I guess it's kind of. Are you guys getting hit first up there? Because right now it's kind of mild here, just a little bit of wind, and that's about it.
Yeah, every day it changes.
Yeah, wait 5 minutes, right?
Yep.
That's kind of the rules as to how it goes. Well, when I started seeing you kind of look like you were really pushing out some media and showing folks what you were doing, and obviously there was an objective there, get you some exposure into the social media world, probably trying to recruit drivers, I imagine, is something you guys probably use that for as well.
Exactly. Last summer we needed to hire a lot of drivers. We'd run some sponsored Facebook ads. We used to use Indeed and Craigslist. It really wasn't working anymore. And I turned to social media. Sorry, I've been fighting a cold here, like a lot of people. But
Hang in there, buddy.
yeah, so I turned to social media, and that's what I really started doing. Like last summer, that was when I started posting on Instagram and creating reels. We were doing picture posts. We really started just trying to go to reels, and it worked. The Instagram page, there was a couple that kind of went viral, and it went from about 2,000 followers to about over 75,000 in about 2 months, probably. Uh,
Jeez.
yeah, and it was just like I say, a couple reels took off, and was just making content, and so yeah, recruiting drivers was primarily the main focus for it, and that's what we did.
Owner operators out there running multiple units in your fleet. There you go. There's how you can get it done, man. You start creating an interest, and you got good looking equipment. Likelihood's pretty good. Guys are going to want to go out there and drive it.
Yep, and TikTok. We got actually a fair amount of drivers. So then I started going. Everybody said, "Oh, you need to use TikTok," and I hadn't been on it like even a year ago. I didn't have one, I don't think. And so I started posting the same reels onto TikTok, and we actually I moved product that way too. We were moving straw to California, and we needed dry vans, and I hadn't shipped any, John, since about 2014 to California, and so my contacts were, most of them not in business, or the phone numbers had changed. So then I moved to TikTok, posted some ads. Basically they weren't even they were just pictures. I just took a screenshot with text and put it on TikTok, and a couple of them kind of took off. I did some reels with us loading the straw into the dry vans, and then a couple of those took off. And next thing I knew, my phone's ringing off the hook. Guys looking to haul looking for dry van loads to California, and it just worked.
Well, it makes sense. It gets them down there, which they probably didn't have any kind of what they might be looking for, which is a backhaul, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The majority of the dry vans, a lot of guys complain about cheap freight. But at the end of the day, those dry vans, as most people know, they go empty mostly back to California. So for them, it's either empty or, lumber or hay or something to just get back down there to pay their fuel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, guilty of it myself. Back in the day, I used to run a backhaul out of Seattle down to San Leandro. And the crazy thing about it is I'd be running what I ran up there in the first place to Seattle, drop off, which was recycled glass, and I'd go a couple miles down the road to another location, pick up another load of recycled glass, and take it down to San Leandro. I never figured out why those two guys never hooked up in Seattle to service
Exactly.
one another. I don't know. Anyways, just the
Yeah,
way of the world, right?
exactly. Yeah. So just kind of started doing the social media thing more. I've got two pages. I've got a hay company page, which is, we'll talk about the exporting side where the hay press is and the baling and the farming and all of that. And then I've been posting on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. I've got a personal Instagram page. So I've got quite a few different, pages that I'm trying to manage right now, and just keep growing all those. One of the things we're doing here today is that we're recording this on our side. Then we'll cut this. We're going to cut this up, and then we'll make reels, short form reels, to repost of our conversation as well.
There you
So
go.
that's why we're in this studio here.
What's the page name?
My pages.
Yeah, the Facebook page. What's the page name on Facebook business page name?
Oh, on my business one.
Mm-hmm.
So all my Instagram and Facebook pages so I have a Bounds Hay, Facebook and Instagram, and then I have a Jesse Bounds Trucking, Facebook and Instagram page as well.
Oh, you got Bound Hay Company page. Okay, there we go.
Yep. And then there's a Jesse Bounds trucking page.
What's going to be better to share on the show today? What do you think?
I think your audience is going to be truckers, so I think we definitely go with the trucking page. And
Let's go there then.
yep,
We'll bring that on up.
yeah,
Looks like I've been there before, huh?
yep.
Obviously. Yeah. So what intrigued me about this is that, look, everybody in the hay business, obviously they're hauling hay. That's the deal. But in yours, you're going out and you're bringing this stuff back to process it and ship it, and that's what kind of got me really interested. I didn't know that we were shipping hay out of the country, and apparently we are. So tell me about it. Are we feeding the Japanese Wagyu beef cattle over there, or what are we doing, man?
We sure are. We're yep. There's as you know, a lot of different livestock in all those countries, and we have Korea is our primary customer because we export a lot of grass straw out of Oregon, and Oregon's the grass seed capital of the world. So the majority of all the grass seed that the world uses to replant fields and lawns and golf courses is grown here in Oregon. And so that's grass straw. There's not a good secondary market for it. Traditionally, years ago in the 70s, even in the 80s, that a lot of that straw was burned, and then that was banned, and then a market was created, and primarily it was shipped to Japan to start with. Japan was really the first market for the straw, and then it transitioned into Korea, and they used the straw to feed beef and dairy cattle. So your Kobe beef, Wagyu, like you talked about, and
Right.
in Korea, it's going to be for dairy and beef. They don't have a lot of land mass to grow their own forage. The majority of the countryside's pretty steep. It's terrainy type. The ground's just they don't have the big fields like we have in the Midwest and the West Coast, and so they have to import that material. And they import from Italy, Spain, Australia. So there's other countries, and actually China sells a lot of rice straw to Japan, but they do grow their own rice straw. Japan and Korea both grow a lot of their own feed. They just typically don't have enough, and a lot of that's weather dependent. So that's where we come in. We're coming in to fill that void of the lack of product that they can grow in their own countries.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm thinking about, you're talking about geography, and Korea is not exactly conducive to growing what we're selling them. So, this is how they got to get it done. I get it. How did you even, I mean, did you do your own research and legwork on this, or?
No, when I was working for a farmer in high school, and he was a farmer, so he grew his own grass seed, and then he had his own balers, and so we would bale the straw, and he was selling it to an exporter. And when I started, I was doing small fields, about 5 and 10 acre fields, and I was working for him, and I bought a baler, and I was baling these small fields. And I actually started out by baling wheat straw. There was a lot of wheat straw at that time, and people really weren't doing anything with it. And so I just started baling this wheat straw, and I was selling it to Portland Meadows, the horse race track in Portland. And that's where I had to go and buy my first truck because I needed a way to get to it. And then the picture you have up there, the black Peterbilt, the background, that was the first truck I bought, which it's now orange. That's the truck that was the cover truck when we were in the magazine. And that truck, I would hand stack like 3 blocks, we call it, 3 units, squeeze blocks onto that truck. And then we would take it up to the horse race track. So I was baling these small fields of grass hay, which the picture you have there is just local grass hay. And I was selling that to the local market, feed stores, and just domestic customers. And then we were baling the wheat straw, and we were hauling it to the horse track. And then we started selling to feed stores. Okay. And what happened was I was able to transition into exporting. And so then I started selling straw, the grass straw, to other press companies that were buying it and then exporting it. And then in 2012, I was driving truck. So I drove truck for about 10 years. And when I was driving truck, I was hauling into another press in Washington, and they had an old hay press, John, that they were throwing it away. They were taking pieces apart and they were throwing it in apple totes. And I was rolling tarps with a friend of mine. And I said, "Hey, what are you going to do with that hay press?" And they said, "Well, we're going to throw it away." And I said, "Well, can I buy it from you?" And they said, "Yeah, you can buy it." And I said, "Well, there's one problem. I don't have any money."
Welcome to everybody's world at this
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah. So I ended up, I left, and I don't know, I can't, it's a couple weeks or a month went by, and the owner called me up, really nice people, and they said, we figured a plan out for you. We can work a deal out. So back then, I think I was getting paid $1,000 to haul a load of hay for them. And we traded the truck, half the trucking against the press payment, and they paid me the other half for fuel and driver's wages about. So the profit side of the trucking, which everybody's gonna say, well, there's not 50% profit, but yeah, I wasn't getting paid all of it, but I didn't have to come up with the money to buy the press, which was nice.
Right.
It took me about a year of trucking, and I had one driver on that haul. They let me come and get the press. We started putting it in, and that was in 2012 when we put that machine in. And so we ran that press until we were able to buy this new one that you have a picture up of here. And that's a new Hunterwood press. That's a 2019. We put that machine in. So we were able to run the old press for about 7 years. But, we had a fire in 16, and that barn there burned, and another one that was just like it. And that was just after, we were in the magazine there. So we kind of had a year that we actually didn't really operate much. It was pretty hard, for keeping everybody busy and just trying to get through that year until we were able to get things reorganized and then get this new machine put in. So,
and the old machine was in the fire?
It was in a different building. We were able to save the building. We put a lot of water on it, and then we were able to save that. But when we were putting water on the building and in the pump room, we got a lot of water on the controls, all the electrical controls and the computer, and all of that stuff got all screwed up. And it took us almost a year to get all the parts and get it reprogrammed and, get it all back and running the right way. So we did save the machine, but we were still down for about a year.
Was it a spontaneous combustion because of the hay or something else?
So we have, at that time, we didn't have a good place for our chaff to go. And what the chaff is you can imagine like at a sawmill, you have sawdust. So, when you're sawing the logs and all the loose falls off.
Sure.
We have the same way. So like in your picture, you can see behind me, there's a pile of straw or hay.
Right there, spoil there. There's spoil back here. Yeah.
Exactly. So all of that falls off. So all day long, you're getting these little pieces. You throw a hay bale down in your garage, and what do? You get a pile of hay on the ground.
Sure.
So we're sweeping all day long, but we were hauling that to a dairy. So we actually had two 53-foot dry van trailers, and we had headboards in the front of them and a cable hooked to them, and we'd fill them full of that loose hay or straw. We'd haul them to a dairy that was about 15 miles away. Well, the dairy in the summertime, they didn't need that much straw, and so we were dumping out in my field. We had nowhere to go with it, and that pile caught on fire, and the wind was blowing about 35 miles an hour, and it just blew in about 5 minutes. It blew that fire right into the barns, and it was the middle of the day. The guys were there. The fire department showed right up, but if you've been around fires, they create their own wind, and when they get moving, they move fast. And so, within 5 or 10 minutes, that whole place was fully engulfed. So what we did is we put a chaff press in. So we have a chaff press in the building there, and we take all the loose material over to the chaff press, and all day long, we're repressing the loose hay and straw into a bale that we can sell. So we actually resell the chaff, and that works really well because we don't have all that loose material laying around, and you can transport it, which is nice because I can sell it domestically. Now I can take my waste, kind of like a cardboard baler. You see the cardboard bales. We basically make a bale very similar to that we can now haul and transport.
Hey, you know what? it's still the same material, and you'll laugh when I tell you where I get my comparable to this, but cigars. They have a lot of cuttings and trimmings that when they're rolling the cigars, and the stuff ends up on the floor, and believe it or not, they sweep that stuff up, and then they'll roll it, and it'll be seconds,
Really?
and they resell it. Yeah, and people know that, but it's like maybe a half or a third of the price of what that regular cigar would cost, but it's whatever whatever they sweep up basically, and they put that into a wrapper and sell it. So, hey, listen, everything in manufacturing, and which I'm a part of, especially now. I mean, we are always looking for ways to be more efficient, and in your case, not only efficient to better pad your bank account and make some money, but be safe. And you kind of hit two really important things there. You're much safer now, and you're getting paid for that waste. So good job.
Yeah, if you're in manufacturing, I mean that's a big thing, and you've got to, if you're not being more efficient, whether it's in trucking, whether it's in farming, whether it's in the manufacturing side of it, if you're not figuring out a way constantly to be more efficient, you're dying. Somebody's going to come in, somebody's going to figure out a way to do it more efficient, faster, better, cheaper, and you're going to be taken out. I mean, I've seen that on the farm side. We recently bought these rakes. They hook to the baler, and it eliminates an operator and a tractor, and this is something that we saw that, hey, this is eliminating a cost. We've got to make an investment into a new piece of equipment. It's a completely different technology than what's previously been done for 50 years or 30 years or however long. But we've got to move forward with that technology, right? I mean, the trucks, as you know, these newer trucks, we've had to make a complete change. I don't think any of us wanted trucks with DEF and filters and all of that, but
Here are.
Yep, here we are. We had to do it, right? We didn't have a choice. And I, as you know, we weren't mandated like California, but I made the investment in 2016 to start going down that road. And the great thing about it is those trucks now are paid off, right? And so I knew that the transition was coming, and we were going to have to start buying these trucks. And I didn't want to just have to go buy 10 or 15 new trucks, and change that whole fleet out at once. So I kind of tried to get ahead of it so that I had, a fleet of compliant trucks.
Well, I'm gonna let everybody know. So Bounds Hay is where I'm at right now. I wanted to get a look at the more of the process and see these after they've been compressed and what they look like going out. So there we are. These are ready for being stacked on pallets. It looks like, or are they on pallets?
We load them right like that. We don't put pallets under the packages.
Okay.
We have a clamp that comes around the package and it squeezes it, and it's got and then that's what we load the containers with. So that way we don't need to use a forklift.
Gotcha. There's a squeeze right there, and you got a rake right there. So I guess the thing I have as a question too now is, I mean, and listen, guys that watch our show. Miss Julia has a comment in here too. So yeah, there you go. They do the same thing with tea. It gets swept off the floor. So Jeff Patella, what's going on, my friend? Happy New Year to you, man. Good to have you on the show. Appreciate that. I imagine there's so many products out there that at this point in the game, if you're wasting anything, you're throwing money out the door, and your process has to be streamlined, or else somebody else will come in and try to figure out a way to do it cheaper. And if they do it first before you do, they're going to get the job. So you guys, like I said, our people watching right now, man, these are some of the brighter, in the industry and pretty successful folks. And they know these rules. So I guess for you that watches this on the replay, or you haven't chimed in and let us know you're watching the show, and there's plenty of you that do that. Be smart about what you're doing. Be aware, be creative, right? I mean, this is the age of being inventive, and just because it's 2023, and I'm guilty of this all the time, and saying, gosh, by the time you think of it, somebody else has already done it, but you don't know. You don't know until you look and see, and who knows? You know, in your case, I mean, you started doing what you're doing. Yeah, there were people out there doing this, but you've kind of made it into your own deal, and it's working. So, guys, apply something, make it happen, and you know, start being successful, and get in there. Here we go. So, um, you know, hey, Elizabeth, if you really are an Elizabeth, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that. But nice to have you. But bye bye. We get the you know, what do you call it? Interesting females, ladies, maybe we don't know, that come in the show, and they start asking for people to send them friend requests. Man, it's crazy.
All kinds, don't you?
You do. Well, you got a couple 100,000, 300,000 people on a page. You know, it's like the front door of any business. Anybody can walk in. So you got to kind of monitor it. And guys, trust me when I say I spend a lot of time on the group, which is our 10-4 Magazine Lounge, and on this page, monitoring who comes in and what they're doing, and if they're, you know, harassing our folks. So just know, if I didn't see it, I will, and I'll get to it. And if you see it, let me know, and we'll take care of it. What would you say to guys coming in and wanting to get into something, whether it be driving one of your trucks, running in the plant, you know, working the machinery, out in the fields cutting grass? I mean, where's the guy start at? Where do we go?
Well, for us, we're high. Obviously, we have our trucking side, so we run a flatbed crew of trucks. Those trucks are hauling alfalfa and straw. So some of the trucks will travel over the mountains, over the Cascade Range, around out to Christmas Valley and Burns, and those guys are getting alfalfa. So they've got to chain up and tarp in the wintertime, of course, you know, like right now. So that's one of the positions that we have, and then we have a local flatbed hauling, which is our drivers are hauling straw close by, typically 10 to 30 miles. Sometimes we go 60 miles, and we're usually hauling when the weather's good. We just are building a set of curtain van trailers that we bought out of California, the 2 sets of curtain trailers, and we're extending the leads on those so that we can get more product in them. They're 28, and a half trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that'll allow our straw haulers to haul every day, rain or shine. But that's on a short haul. And then we've got our container truck drivers, John, and those drivers are running between our yards in Junction City, Oregon, and they're running to Portland. We used to run to Tacoma. We're currently not running to Tacoma just because the ports the vessel schedules have been very inconsistent. And so we're trying to just stay closer to home to manage our trucking easier. But we're hoping that down the road, as the shipping straightens out, we can get back to running to Tacoma.
Hey, I don't know if you're seeing this, Jesse, or not, but number one, Miss Shannon Lynn's said to say hello, and especially say hello to you in the comments. So are you seeing the comments in real time on your end?
I'm seeing Jeff's comments.
Yeah, Jeff Patello. So
yeah. What's up, Jeff?
yeah, Jeff's a superstar, man.
Oh,
in his own right. You guys don't know Jeff Patello, you haven't been paying attention. So, Jeff, Happy New Year, my friend, and so glad to have you on the show. It's always great to have Jeff tuning in. Listen, and Jeff, you're probably right. But most of us that have been in the life we're not breaking our arms, patting ourselves on the backs. He knows that, and we're about the business. And if we have some fun along the way, then that's a bonus. And I certainly am guilty of that. I had a lot of fun on the way when I was running around doing what I did, and it was a good time. It was a lot of hard work, but the rewards are better. I mean, here I am now doing this, and who'd have thought that? If you'd have told me that back in 2000 whatever, and I was trucking, I said, yeah, John, you're going to be doing this for 10-4, and you're going to be in the industry, and doing all this new video live stream stuff. Never would have thought of it. So humility goes a long ways, man. It really does. And it's just sort of ingrained in us. It's who we are. So Jesse, I think you're definitely representative of that. On the other note, I want to share though right now is something we can go back to that kind of gives you a little bit of love. And here you can tell us what we're looking at here.
Oh boy. Yeah, there it is. I wish it was that shiny still, and I was as good a shape as I was in that other picture you showed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. I want to bring this guy in here. We'll go full screen on it, and we're going
Yeah.
to take us out of there for a minute. But this is the. Wait a minute. Is that your
Whoa.
son? Who's
Yeah.
that kid?
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do we got here? Okay. Yeah, that's you, man. That's you. How old? How old were you there?
Well, that was back. I'm 39 now, so that was what did we think that was in 14 November 14?
November of 14. So you're 28, 29,
Oh man, yeah,
30,
yeah, 30,
30, something
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. One day I'm going to be that skinny again. I've been working at it.
Oh, I tell myself that every day, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you though. I bring this 10. One thing I want to touch on because I don't want to forget this. This 10-4 magazine was a game changer when I was a cover trucker. I'll tell you what. If you search my name or my company, this is what drives everybody finds this article. And Dan did this thing was wrote so well. Typically insurance agents, bankers, customers, anybody, a lot of people that want to come meet me for the first time, they don't know you. My landlord, like when I go out and I'm talking to people about renting ground and they want to research you and Google your name, that's what the article comes up. And I just can't thank you guys enough for, what that does. And, it's, I've had so many people recognize that article that it really means a lot. It was a life-changing experience, and it's lasted forever because I all the time, almost weekly, monthly, somebody finds that article and they bring it up. Hey, I read that article, and I immediately know because I've really only ever had one article wrote, but they every time they're like, you guys did such a good job describing the story. It's just put together so well. The pictures are fantastic. Anyways, anybody that has the chance to be in the magazine, it is a blessing.
First of all, thank you. And all I can say is that at that point when you were being featured as a cover trucker and 14, I was just part of the team, part of alumni there as well with you. And so I didn't get to welcome you to the family, but welcome to the family. I'm sure Eric did profusely, probably over and over again, and Dan as well. But I have to say, you know what? Again, it goes to that, what it is, who you are, and how you do what you do. You're not doing it to show off. You're not doing it to, one up anybody. You're doing it because that's what you want to do. There's some of us that get this bug, I call it. It's just this thing. We want to have nice trucks. We want to do good work. We want to be reliable. We want, all good qualities out there to represent the industry, ourselves, and all of us well. And Jesse, you emulate that. And I have to say, you know what? There's only 12 covers a year. And we pick, and back then, Dan and Eric pick very conservatively who ends up on one of those covers, as well as today. So,
Yeah.
Congratulations on that, and you've done very well. So, making big, important decisions right here in that photograph, I'm sure, right?
And one thing I wanted to bring up was these buildings are the ones that burned.
Yes.
And I will remember that Eric called me after that fire, and he sent me. Is it the 10-4, the 10-4 bucks or the dollar? I don't know what he called. I can't remember what he called them, but he called me after that fire, man. And I'll tell you what, he was motivating. He's like, "We're here for you. Anything you need."
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people that, not that they don't want to do it, but that can, people know you went through something,
Sure.
It didn't matter. He picked that phone up. He called, he sent money, he supported me. He was there, and that's part of being in a family and being in a group and having that support. And I think the trucking industry is really big at that. And that's one of the things that I really like about the trucking industry is that pretty much everybody supports everybody. If you're broke down on the side of the road, I mean, if my trucks, are broke down or something happens, somebody's calling me, somebody's willing to fix them. And we do the same thing. If somebody's in our area, they need a trailer decked, obviously we're not always available. We can't help do everything at all the time, but I mean, we will try to direct them in the right way, get them a tow truck, whatever we can do. And I think that, that's the thing about a community. If I'm in California and I've got a problem, which we don't, truck down there anymore, but when we did, Lowry's, you guys know Josh. I've known those guys. The squeeze that you had the picture of in that barn, I bought that from Josh and Mike, and it's went both ways. I've been down there and needed help, right? And I call up Josh and he helps me out, and he's got trucks up here and he's got problems and he calls me. So I mean, that's what's really cool about the trucking community, is that it goes both ways if you're in the right group.
That just rings it. It just rang it all together right there. Opening the show, I was talking about Madison Lowry. That's the show, the Bobtail Apparel show. That's her dad, Josh. So what a close, kind of cool community there. By the way,
really close and really tight.
Yeah.
Really fast, right? Even though we're all over the place, and I've got I've got friends that I've had on Facebook that I could go on for days about this, but people that you don't talk to on a regular basis, but you're in that community, and the next thing you know, they just reach out, or you pick up the phone and call, or you're down there, or you go to a truck show. The Peterbilt show that was in Stockton, we were talking about that last night. And I met so many great people when I went to that show, and I don't get to go to shows much. We're really busy, especially in the summertime. And I just think that, the communities, in the trucking world is pretty great. So,
well, you're part of the 10-4 family forever. That's an eternity. And then there's an extended part of that across this country now that, we got Bubba Branch here tuning in and commenting. And one of the, most nicest, humblest guys out there, out in Florida, that just does what he does and makes us all look good doing it, and there's a pretty hardcore group of guys out there that you call them, you need something, they're on it. And what's even better than that is if they know you're going through something, they're calling you. So, really, really nice. It's the real deal. It's not, hey, see you at the show, and if I don't see you after that, that's okay too. Not that way. Not with these guys anyway. So, still reeling through the cover photo shoot. So, Dan joined in, and he said, credit to Brian Welsh for convincing us that Jesse was the real deal.
Oh yeah. Brian did too. We were at the, and that's how these shows, everything links together, right? We talk about social media and everything, but I was at the show, at the Brooks show, and Brian, as everybody knows, has, been, working with you guys for a long time.
Sure.
And Brian, had that conversation, I'm pretty sure, with Dan and Eric, and I think they shot. I was with them when we did James Davis's shoot. So I was with Dan and Eric. We went out, we did that. And I don't remember when James's was, but I think mine I think was a while after that, but he, they just called up, and it was luckily it was right after the show. That's why the trucks were so nice and clean. And they're like, hey, we're going to shoot tomorrow, and that's how it worked. And it just went. But if I wouldn't have been at that show, there's a chance that, maybe the connection wouldn't have happened. You don't know what's going to happen. And I guess what I'm getting at is that when you go to the shows or you go to events and you network and you post and you do, and, you engage, that's what really, you start making that connection and things start happening. I've never been on a podcast, and I've been on 2 now in a month, and I think a lot of it's, I don't know, John, what drove you to reach out, or I know I messaged you too, checking in, and, but these things just happen. And, we started off the conversation about social media, and things are changing. And I think that's why, you just start to see that, with the YouTube channels and everything, this engagement's changing. And the way we're connecting with people, and I think it's really cool, So, see, Dan says, remember the bowling alley during James's shoot? I don't. Dan's gonna have to refresh my memory, just like I had to refresh yours, John, about the first time we met.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we met when I was out selling commercial financing to guys, and I hit you up and didn't even remember that. So I was trying to look there. Dan, let us know, was James before or after Jesse on the cover? It must have been. I'm thinking after. Was it before?
I thought he was before, but we're going back in time, man. We're getting cobwebs.
Yeah. Well, and again, not to make it all about 10-4, but hey, James Davis is quite a business model out there in the trucking world, and he's a lot of hard work, and listen, all the props to James. 10-4 was there with him too, and it's there's a little touch there that happens, and I have to say, in my own experience as well, did it make a difference in my life? It sure did. Big time. Where I work at now, I walk in, my truck pictures are all over the place in that shop and in that office. I'm part of that company's history through the truck that I built that featured Rogue truck bodies on it, and Rogue transfer truck body and trailer sets, and that wouldn't have happened if I didn't catch 10-4's eyes and end up on the cover on my cover shoot myself back in the day. So, you know what? We're fortunate. Did we work to get there? I think that's where, we're still humble, but at the same time, hey, we worked there to get there. Dan says, yeah, before too. So 7 years before. Wow. There you go. Yeah. Jeez. That makes sense, because I remember us in Vegas together with myself and James and Eric and Dan and everybody. And James was there back in that day. And, yeah, anyway, we won't talk. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Yeah. And it will. James, you're safe, buddy. and again, small world, right? So guess who hauls all of our equipment out of Kirby, Oregon, wherever it goes? Rogue Truck Body. Well, that's, JDT, James Davis Trucking. That's our guy. So it is a small world out there. As big as it is, it's a small world. So, that's says a lot to folks. Be careful what you're doing out there. You just don't know. And if you're doing the right things all the time, and none of us are, we try to, but I guess just be respectful, man. The most important thing, be respectful. And I know I lose my sometimes too out there, because it's frustrating in the world some days out there, and especially out on the roads, man, I'll tell you. But it is a small world. Well, listen, Jesse, any final parting words you want to give to everybody here? And of course, again, like I said, people will be watching this on the replay. So if you got contact points you want to talk about, let us know what they are, how to get a hold of you, and why people want to get a hold of you. Let us know that information.
Yeah, so we can, like I said, we've got our Jesse Bounds Trucking Facebook, Instagram page. We've got our Bounds Hay Company Facebook and Instagram page. I have a personal page where we're going to be starting to post more content on all of these platforms. So for our trucking page, you're going to find more of reels and pictures of trucks and the hay squeeze and the trucks. And on the Hay Company page, it's going to be a lot more of the pressing, the packaging, the exporting side, the farming, the baling. And then I've got a personal YouTube channel. But as we start building out more content, we're going to do probably two. We're going to start probably two new YouTube channels. One for the Hay Company, one for the trucking. We're trying to separate the people that are really interested in trucking more. If they're both, they're going to find both. We kind of cross post some. I've got a LinkedIn page and a TikTok page, so they can find us on all those. And then, of course, right now I just have a YouTube short page, getting some pretty good traction on that so far. So we're hoping to roll out some long form content, like shop projects, the things we're doing, John, rebuilding trucks, rebuilding hay squeezes, the curtain van trailers, or whatever we're working on the shop, because we're always working in the shop. We're always redoing, trailers and trucks, getting things ready for the harvest season, fixing things we tore up in the harvest season. And then we're going to be posting, all that content. As you know, it takes a lot of time. So we're just trying to figure out how we can streamline this process. And I want to know what people want to see too. So, I answer my DMs, message me, comment. I've got a Facebook group I started. It's just
Saw that. Yeah.
Jesse Bounds. So I'll probably roll out another group at some point, as we get more into this. So that's a good group. I try to post in there a lot. But the algorithms, John, block a lot of what you see. Like my Facebook page, 5 or 7 years ago, I was getting, way more likes than I get now on a post. And so those algorithms have kind of covered up your following. And so the nice thing about, your groups, like, is when we post in a group or someone comments or engages, that's going to show up in your news feed a lot more. You're in that group, so it's not going to really get blocked out. But if you just go do a post on your personal page, heck, everybody might not even see it. If there's no engagement, Facebook just kind of covers that stuff up. So get into the groups. I'm going to be posting in your group more. And so, it works both ways.
Sure.
So I think having that engagement. So I hope that people will find me, follow me. I'm going to, engage in your group more. You engage in mine or your followers or however. And I think that's a really good way to build out everybody's communities. So
let me ask you this, and now that you're diving into my world more, what do you think of TikTok and is it just a total push media thing for you?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. I was doing a rock project last summer. Okay, middle of summer, I'm busy. I need 500 loads of rock in my place tomorrow. The rock quarry was only a mile. I have a dump truck. I didn't have enough drivers. I didn't have time to do it. I had my friend out there. He's got he's got 2 dump trucks running with me, but I need more trucks. So instead of me going through my phone, because I'm running equipment, I'm driving truck, I'm like working with my guys last summer. So as all of us, I know a bunch of people got dump trucks. So what do? I go to TikTok. I literally just do a post. I'm like, I need dump trucks tomorrow. I do that post. People that I know and people that I don't know, people that I don't even follow, people that know people see this post. Somehow I'm like, I don't even know who's seeing this. Yeah. But all I know is my phone's ringing and I'm getting text messages. I had like 3 dump trucks the next day, 7 o'clock hauling rock, that fast. It was easier for me to go do one post to reach all these people than it was for me to sit on my phone and cold call, people that I knew. So it just works, John, so much faster. The other thing about social media is that every platform is going to be a little bit different. Your audience is going to be a little bit different. And so that's why I post on all the platforms. And as we get better at making content, we will tailor our posts and our content, just like we're talking about having a trucking page and a hay company or farming page. We're going to start doing better at creating content. And that's why we want to have 2 YouTube channels. TikTok, I put everything on. It doesn't matter. I put my personal stuff on my page. The dogs run around the house, my girlfriend, a truck, a hay bale. I put everything on TikTok.
Yep.
I've grown, and I have a lot of times, John, I honestly forget to go on a TikTok and post. I'm so used to Facebook or Instagram. And so I'll make a post and I'll go, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't go to TikTok. I didn't go to LinkedIn. I didn't go to YouTube. And so it's hard for me to get, into that rhythm of going to those platforms. What's crazy is I had about probably 2,000 followers on my Facebook page forever, like probably the last 5 years. I don't know. I've got probably almost 4,000 now, and I have not been, I was not using Facebook very much, but I'll tell you the groups is where it's at. Start a group.
Yep.
Or engage in other groups. TikTok, like I said, a year ago, I don't think I had it. I think I have 10,000 people right now, almost. I'm creeping to 10,000. But what I find on Instagram and TikTok that typically drives algorithm and engagement is confrontation. Somebody's arguing with someone or somebody doesn't agree. So I have a post on my Instagram of a truck coming out of a hayfield, okay? And the gate was like, we couldn't open the gates. Everybody says, well, if you would open the gate all the way, you could have got out. Or they go, why do you have these long-nosed Peterbilts if you would have a cab over, right? I
Yeah.
don't know how. There's like maybe almost 5 million views on this reel,
Yeah.
but those comments, them
Yep.
arguing, right? That's what's driving that algorithm. On TikTok, same way.
Yeah.
You post something, people start commenting. You need, like me, I need to comment, I need to engage back. And so as I engage back personally, it creates,
Yep.
and it's like a dragon. You feed that dragon, you feed Instagram, you feed TikTok. They want that engagement, they want that watch time. Those things will take off, and
Hmm.
you'll have reels or videos or whatever it is that, like, it might take 2 or 3 months, and then out of nowhere you're like, whoa, wait, why is this thing ratcheting? Or
Yep.
it went pretty good, and then all of a sudden somebody out of nowhere starts commenting on it, and it's like a 3 month old reel, and then it'll start taking off again.
Yep.
So you don't really know all the time, and everybody's like, well, there's a special time, to post.
Yep. There is.
There is. I try to do 8 o'clock, 12, and like say 5 o'clock. And I don't hit it. I mean, you're busy like tonight. Am I posting right now? No, we're on a call. So what am I going to do tonight? My post might be at 7 o'clock tonight when I post something.
Hmm.
So because I don't run auto postings and I'm doing it organically right now, mine's
Yep.
sporadic. But TikTok, yes, short form. We're going to cut this up. We're videoing this right now.
Right.
So we're going to cut it up, and you're going to see us start posting short clips of what we're talking about, and we're going to post that. We're going to post it on Shorts. We're going to post maybe a longer form video. We're going to post it in our story. We're going to post it on, Facebook, Instagram, and you can see that I've been doing that with our employee testimonials. So we did a day where we came out and videoed, our employees, our truck drivers, our dispatchers, our press workers, and now we've cut that up into short form reels, and we're using that content, and we're putting that into our, and those are the type of things that when people are like, well, I don't know, I can't get drivers. I get all that. We all need drivers, right?
Yep.
Everybody needs drivers.
Yep.
I definitely think that creating that kind of content and that engagement and posting that, post your drivers, interview them. We never did that. We just, went to the old traditional ways of paying for Craigslist ads or paying for Facebook ads. But what you're really trying to do, and James did a really good job with his trucking company, creating that culture. He's got
Yep.
really nice trucks, but having really nice trucks doesn't always get you drivers.
Well, it gets you guys to want to drive. It doesn't mean they're a driver.
Exactly. It doesn't always, and honestly, a lot of our drivers, they like to drive nice trucks, but they didn't come there to drive a nice shiny orange Peterbilt. They came there for consistent work, good equipment and good pay. And it probably doesn't matter if I would have had a white Volvo, but they knew it was a good company, they would still be working there.
Yeah.
I think that creating that culture, and you got to share that culture. When you create it, you got to share it with others, and that's what's going to bring drivers in. That's the type of drivers we're looking for. We're looking for drivers that want to come work all the time. They want to have good equipment. They know that they're going to be home. And so James did a good job creating his culture and his following, and that's what we're trying to do. Is we just want to have a group of guys, ladies, it doesn't matter. We want to have a group of people that is willing to be there all the time. We're going to take care of them. We work year round. We're going to provide them good equipment. And so I just think that when you're creating that and you're posting that and sharing it with everybody, you're going to start attracting, a better a group of team members to work for you. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. Showcase.
Well, I think key word there is culture, and that's what people are looking for. They're looking for somebody that's stability is good, consistency is good, year round. Of course, in the trucking industry, you can work year round in a lot of different parts of it, but is it stuff you really want to do? And listen, not every day is everything you're going to want to do, no matter where you're working. There's going to be some days where you're in the you're where you don't want to be, but you're doing it and you get it done and on to the next day and a better day. Listen, we used to do jobs. Sometimes I just shake my head going, what am I even doing here, man? But take care of my customer and get the job done. And then, better day ahead. So listen, we gotta wind this one down. Jesse, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And I've learned a lot here today from you, and I appreciate you sharing thoughts and experiences. Congratulations again on now and as well back in 2014, man. Still hanging in there and looking good.
Yeah. Thank you, John. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Absolutely. It'll be a pleasure to have you back again another time and to see you at a show somewhere. So hopefully we'd love to see you down in Irwindale in April. You know, you got some stuff.
Hey, you never know. I might be there.
I would like to see that. So see if you can make that happen and make us all proud and represent down there. Bring the Pacific Northwest some more representation down into California. So take care. Happy New Year. We'll look forward to the good things of 2023. Bring us both. So you
Awesome.
take care.
Thanks. See you later.
All right. All right, everybody. Jesse Bounds there. And of course, go and check him out on all the different platforms, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. If you're wanting to check out the business side of Jesse and what he does, there's that side of it too. So I think great interview, great talk. And as I said, I learned a lot there today. So appreciate him taking the time to be out there and available. I mean, we've done killed 60 minutes. And sometimes it's real easy to do, and that was one of those ones. So appreciate him making the time to make it happen. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Jamie, look for a call from me, buddy. I'm going to get a hold of you, man. I got some stuff I want to talk to you about, and I can't wait to hit September. I'm not killing the year ahead of its time, but I'm sure we're going to see you in September in Joplin at GBAT. So can't wait for that. Probably coming up in March, I'm sure too, as well. In Louisville, if you're not showing, you'll be spectatoring. So I might have made that word up just now, spectatoring. Anyway, listen, guys, appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the show. Probably going to do more of the same, and whether it goes full 60 with the guest or not, that just depends on the guest and the topic that they have and what we're talking about. We may have somewhere I might be forced into some other things that we will be doing on our shows. Hope to bring you more live video and recorded video as well in the shows. And we're going to continue to be here once a week, Wednesdays for now. Seems to be working out. Appreciate everybody that tuned in today. Everybody that missed the show today live, I hope you're out there working and making money and you just decided to grab gears and burn diesel today and get the year going. So everybody up here in my neck of the woods, you guys hang on. We got a storm coming in as well in California, the same thing. Jeff Patello, brother, good to see you on the show, and can't wait to see you too again, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Stay safe down there in California, guys. You guys got a big old Pineapple Express whopper coming your way, and from what I've seen so far, people water skiing in the streets and riding boats in San Francisco and all over the darn place. It's the real deal. The first wave of it that hit. Now you got two big punches coming in that are going to hit you here anytime. So we'll see you guys again next week, and we'll be talking next week. Actually, I don't know yet. So I'm looking for suggestions too. If there's somebody out here in the world that you guys would like to see me get on the show, drop me an email or a text or whatever, and let me know who that is, and I'll see what I can do to get on the show. I ain't afraid to call anybody either. So Taylor Swift, I might call. All right, you guys, take care. Happy New Year. Keep the shiny side up. Stay safe out there, y'all. JT out for now. Studio 10-4 Live will be back next week. Take care.